Okay, all punched up. Open in 15. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
To Sports Tonight, Bailey Burmaster joined alongside Ellie Parker for your Wednesday edition. Happy Hump Day, Elle. How we feeling today?
Feeling better than I have the last couple weeks.
Okay,
You know? So, yay,
that's
cool.
a win. A win is a win. What we got lined up for you, we're going to talk about the Braves. Injury bug is back, and it's not great. We're going to hear from Brent Key and the gang concerning Georgia Tech as they look to rebound from their first loss of the season. We're going to discuss our much-watched college football games of the week. I love when we do this to kind of put things on the map. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Atlanta United. They've kind of been flying under the radar since cleaning house, essentially. So we'll hear from Brad and Brooks just about the state of Atlanta United because they have some big games coming up. But let's start with the Braves. Ronaldo Lopez left the game on Tuesday night in Washington with right shoulder tightness. They were really concerned, but the initial review of everything seemed okay. He was going to get MRIs today. It's not too bad. He is on the 15-day injured list. So that will bring him back, if I'm not mistaken, around September 26th, which is the final 3-game set against the Mets, which will be crucial for both of these teams' postseason hopes. They can't catch a break, can they?
No, they can't. No, they can't.
And
Ronaldo Lopez had been doing so well this season. A guy with a career 3.95 ERA. Has a 2.03 ERA and 137 strikeouts this season for the Braves. So clearly something on the pitching staff is working.
It's just what's hard about this one, too, is he's one of your starting pitchers, right? And the pitching is really what has saved this team from plummeting when they've battled so many injuries. And now it's crept into the pitching room, and you hate that. They did get a big win last night, 12-0 over the Nationals. Offense was firing on all cylinders. Michael Harris had 2 homers. Orlando Arcia added another. Sean Murphy getting in on the action. Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher, has been out for paternity leave. He's had another baby.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yes, so we'll rejoin the team eventually, but definitely something worth watching. I mean, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I see a lot of the fans on Twitter not feeling great about the playoff chances. Remains to be seen. How are you feeling about it at this point?
It's going to come down to those games against the Mets. Talk to me after game 1 of that series. That's basically a playoff play.
And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I don't watch a whole lot of Mets baseball, but from what I'm picking up, they're playing pretty good right now.
Yes, they are. They were able to today. Blue Jays pitcher Bowden Francis took a no-hitter against the Mets into the 9th inning, and then the Mets won that game.
Yeah.
Because the Mets batted around him in 9th after he gave up a solo shot and ended the no-hitter hopes. So, yeah, the Mets are doing pretty well. They're starting to win games they shouldn't.
Yeah. So beware. It's going to be an interesting September as we get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about Georgia Tech on the flats. They're back at practice, gearing up for VMI. I believe that kick is at 3:30 on Saturday at Bobby Dodd. Coming off their first loss of the season, how are they going to respond? Well, it's one of those things where historically they've responded pretty well. Let's go to the latest sound from players about this matchup coming up Saturday.
Oh, Lord. I bet you chopped your head off.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah. I was there, Ken was there, she was talking to everybody,
Sounds like my mom.
It's all good.
Syracuse Airport or
Yeah,
DC?
Syracuse Airport, yeah. Then we all flew to DC and then we all flew home.
Nah, small world.
All right. Cameras ready? Cool. We'll go ahead and get started with Clayton Connolly. Questions for Clayton? Chad?
We asked Coach yesterday after losses. You guys have been really good coming back, winning the next week. Why do you think that is? Is there something different in practice after losses or anything like that?
For the most part, we just take a different approach to practice. We know that following week has to be way better than that previous week because in the little details that we may have missed in the game, we realized that in practice that week we may have missed those, and we didn't hone in on those details. So the following week, like this week, we honed in on all those details. We made sure we flying to the ball as far as defense, make sure we're communicating, trying to communicate everything, all the possibilities from each formation, each snap that we get post-snap, pre-snap. So we really just honed in on the details a lot more. So I'm wishing that for our defense we can do that every week. Just be consistent every week and learn how to be consistent for us, at least on the defense.
You've been to Ireland, up to Syracuse, two out of the first 3 games. How are you guys adjusting to all that travel?
I mean, there's no real excuse or no real, expectation. You're just expected to get there, play your best, come back, play your best. It's just, we know traveling is a part of the game, so we just have to always be adjusted, just always being able to travel and do little things like that to where, you don't really think about it. Because, when we went to Ireland, it didn't really feel that much of a difference to me, at least. And then when we came back for Georgia State, it didn't feel that much of a difference. So just being that consistently, just going there and just playing your best of football.
I guess LaMiles went down on Saturday earlier in the game. I guess with you being the other kind of more experienced guy on the back end, defensive backfield, did you feel like that kind of put more on you to kind of be a leader in that game, or just kind of business as usual?
I wouldn't say it was put more pressure on me because I've already been trying to step up in that leadership role as far as on the back end. I know LaMiles, he has a lot on his plate, so we're just trying to help each other out. So now that LaMiles has been taking a couple of less reps, and in practice, I'm just trying to just keep everything smooth transition because we got Tay Seymour, who's been playing a lot recently, and he's been doing a great job. So I have a lot of faith in Tay. He has a lot of faith in me, so we're able to just keep things rolling even though we may be down 1 as far as that game.
On the same subject, Coach yesterday talked about, the communication back there, with LaMiles out. When somebody like Tay comes in, how does that work for you guys back there?
I mean, Tay has been a sponge. We all went to defense at the same time. He's been a real sponge. Now he's playing field safety and boundary safety, just like how I usually been playing it. So I've just been real on him about all the little details, all the little communication that he has to make to the linebackers, to the corners, even to the opposite safety and the nickel, just trying to make sure he knows his defense inside and out to where he's more versatile, to where we can use him in the boundary, we can use him in the field. So it just makes him more versatile in his skill set.
Kyle Eifert said Syracuse was not a wake-up call, but was it sort of eye-opening, the defense does still have a long way to go in that sense?
We always say we always say we have something to improve on each week and each day. So it wasn't necessarily a wake-up call. It was just a tough loss. This in the past now, can't go back and change anything about it. The only thing we can focus on is that next week and next opponent, which we're taking big steps and big strides just today in practice. We had a pretty good practice today.
Anything in the back? No? Anything else up here? No?
Kind of talking about that with Syracuse last week. After they had a pretty big passing day, does the back end kind of come back this week a little more motivated, kind of want to put that one behind them and kind of show how much y'all have improved?
Yeah, it's a DB's dream to get that many targets, and today just wasn't our day. We're gonna keep it black and white, no gray area. That day wasn't our best day, but we love to see that we will be tried and we will continue to be tried. So next step is just to take the most out of those opportunities and really just get those interceptions, those PBUs, and the little things like that, because we don't have, as far as I know, we have 1 turnover. We want to, as a defensive secondary, we really want to just amp up them turnovers, amp up them PBUs, them interceptions. So we're really honing in on those details that we got to get our hands on the football when the ball's in the air.
Anything else? Rob?
When you have a quarterback that has a quick release and they're getting rid of the ball fast, do you play any differently back there?
I may, well, for me at least as safety, I may be a little bit slower on my pedal, a little slower on my reads, just because I know that in any run action, it's also a little quick hitch or a quick slant. I can maybe break on, get a pick, or little things like that. So, as far as this week, I've most definitely been honing in on those details of playing a little bit slower for the run and for the quick game that this team does. So, a lot of plays are going to be made on Saturday.
Anything else for Clayton? Okay. Thanks, CP.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you as always. Good. Okay. We'll go ahead and get started with Jordan Vandenberg. Questions, Chad?
I know when you committed here, you said playing back in Atlanta was a big part of it. What's it been like living back in Atlanta, being around family and things?
You know, I think my family is the most important thing to me. So being able to have that support right home has really helped me with my performance in my game. Being able to sometimes just disconnect from football and be able to go home, have a family cooked meal has really helped me in my mindset.
Rob?
It seems like lately your reps have increased, as the season is going on. What has gone into that, and, how has your relationship been with Coach Simpson?
Coach Simpson's great. He's really taught me a lot. I feel like the more I'm learning the defense, the more comfortable I'm getting, the better I'm becoming. So as I keep learning this style of defense and keep just pursuing it and just learning more, I'll just carry on developing and getting better.
Miles?
Coach Key talked about kind of quoting Nick Saban about not wanting to waste a loss. Can you kind of touch on that, how you guys as players sort of feel about that statement and how you guys are taking that after the loss to Syracuse?
I mean, every time you take a loss, you got to look in the mirror and see where we need to improve. And I feel like all the players and the coaches have really bought in, and we just looking in the mirror and seeing the places that we need to improve on so something like that doesn't happen again.
I know the pass rush has kind of been something that y'all, it's been a little lacking the first few weeks. Just talk about how motivated y'all are to kind of turn that around and get pressure on the quarterback a little bit more going forward.
We very motivated. We know, like D-line, we want to get to that quarterback. We just got to carry on trusting the process, keep trusting Coach Simpson. We'll get there.
Are you learning any different schemes and techniques from what you were doing up at Happy Valley, or?
Yes, definitely. Every different defensive coordinator will have their own tweaks to the defense, and it's definitely different from what I was running at Happy Valley.
Anything more? Chad?
Have you looked at much VMI tape? I mean, what's your scout on them? Have you paid attention to that at all?
Yeah, we always constantly watching tape, and, you never got to take an opponent for lightning, so we take it very serious, watching the tape every single day, try and key on tips and clues, and just we treat it like any other game.
What have you seen out of them? Anything specific?
Yeah, I've seen, we're going to have to stop the run. That's the main thing. We're going to just really harp on that, making them a one-dimensional team, make them throw the ball.
Anything else? Jordan, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Go ahead and jump up. You want to go over this side? Okay. Everybody ready? Cool. We'll go ahead and start. Last but not least, Avery Boyd. Questions?
Avery, what was your thoughts when the coaches came to you and said, "Hey, we want to move you over to tight end"?
I was a little undersized for the tight end position at the time, so I was like, I don't know. There's some big dudes down there. I had Dylan Leonard and Luke. They were a little bit bigger than me, so I was like, I don't know if I could do what they did. But, they helped me through it. They guided me through it. I put on a couple pounds. It worked out.
Talking about that, you probably get to eat a little bit more now, but you put this past offseason, put on some pounds. Just kind of what's been that regimen, kind of in the weight room too, getting bigger and kind of nutrition plan. How much of a difference has that been from being a receiver the last few years?
Well, it gives me an excuse to eat a lot more junk food, and I started working out with the old linemen to get stronger and stuff.
Any changes for you with what you're doing as a receiver as far as blocking or route running, that type of thing?
Okay. I definitely underestimated the kind of blocking that tight ends would do down there, and how big and then just how lazy them D linemen can get sometimes. It's way different than blocking a DB or a safety.
Emily?
Yesterday, your coach was saying how he wants more consistency from you guys, especially in practice. How often does he preach that to you, and how seriously do you guys take it?
All the time. You'll get tired of it sometimes. He's always on his mic telling us make sure we're consistent. And then at some points in practice, it's just up on us players to keep other players consistent.
As the season is going on, have you seen the tight ends getting more involved in the offense? And, I imagine that's something you really like now.
Yeah, especially being a tight end now. I really do like the involvement in the tight ends in the pass game and also the run game. I really wish I could be more involved in the run game, too. Catching passes is always fun, but it's good when you can block for the quarterback and create plays that way, too.
Now that you guys have achieved that top 25 ranking this season, I know you guys coming off the loss, but now that you guys have achieved that, how important is it to kind of maintain that level of, I guess, national ranking that you guys had before?
It is very important, but we just take opponent one at a time. Rankings are going to change week to week, you know what I'm saying? But what shouldn't change is our preparation and how hard we play.
Do you feel like now that you're a tight end, you can create a lot of mismatches, with, using your skills as a receiver, your speed, that type of thing?
Wholeheartedly. Mismatches for a lot of DNs, dropping back, or any linebackers trying to cover me.
Anything else for Avery? Avery, thanks, bud.
No problem.
Appreciate you.
Okay, sorry, I forgot my iPad and I wanted to read off the games we have coming up this week. So, obviously Georgia and Kentucky, that's a night game. It should be a good one. I do think Georgia walks away with this.
Yes.
Easy money. I'm kind of excited to watch Alabama at Wisconsin.
I was going to mention that.
Okay, I don't think Wisconsin's that good.
I don't.
But it's at Camp Randall.
Bama at Camp Randall.
And
Gimme.
Just
Gimme.
I don't know. I like the
I'm
vibes,
hyped.
and it's noon. It's noon, so tune into that one. Not intrigued by LSU, South Carolina, Arkansas at Michigan could be an
Arkansas
interesting one.
State.
Oh, right. Good catch. Oregon State.
Civil War. Let's go. It's weird that it's a non-con game, but
You also have Utah State. Meh. I mean, is that really what we're working with this week?
excuse you? Excuse you.
Oh, did I forget your game?
Excuse you.
Hold on. Oh, Boston College, Missouri.
Excuse you. Excuse you. Ranked to be ranked.
Go for it.
Excuse you. Number 24, Boston College, coming to Columbia, Missouri, to face my Missouri Tigers, who are ranked number 6. Both teams have done really well this season. Boston College, obviously, behind the play of quarterback Thomas Castellanos. And Missouri, the defense, hasn't given up points yet.
You should win this game.
Hopefully.
You should. If you guys lose this game, even though it's against a okay Boston College team.
That said, these are the Missouri Tigers.
Did we ever talk about the Oklahoma State Arkansas game? Because
how did you feel about that one?
I needed an IV and I needed to be put down after that one, because I tell myself every year that I am not going to get emotionally invested in Oklahoma State football for the mere fact that they are the cardiac Cowboys. They will put you through the ringer. And I watched the first half and I was like, this is brutal. Brutal.
They should not have won the game.
No, but they did.
They did.
They played like crap, and Arkansas kept shooting themselves in the foot with their turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
The things that made me mad. Okay, we got to talk about this. Sorry, we're going to go on a side rant here. Did you watch the full game?
Not the full game.
Okay, did you watch like the third and fourth quarter?
Yes.
Okay. So Alan Bowman, I covered him when he was at Texas Tech. I can't talk about it enough because he's that old. He is 24, has his real estate license. I think he's married. When he got called for taunting, nothing in this world made me more mad because of that. Because you know better. You are also an average quarterback.
Yeah.
Where do you get the audacity to finger gun to the sideline when you're driving down trying to go win this game? Then the kicker, clutch all day. The one time you need him to be clutch, you settle for the field goal and he shanks it. We did get that. We got screwed on the offsides call too.
Can you tell Bailey and I put way too much emotional stock into 53 people we will never meet?
Children, by the way.
Children
Who are like 18 to 21 years old. Anyway, we got the dub. Wasn't pretty, but we got the dub. I am wildly terrified for when we play Utah.
Oh.
Terrified. The only thing that's
Utah
going
with
for
the
us
over, please.
is that game is in Stillwater. So fingers crossed we go to Tulsa this week and then we play Utah at home. So, all right, Elle, let's talk about some Atlanta United. Tough go around. They've really just cleaned house, especially after Bocanegra. No one really knows what the future holds. They signed a new midfielder who actually saw the Benz for the first time and was like in absolute awe about it. But it's always hard because you feel like you're just grasping at what you can during these times while you kind of right the ship and figure out what's next. But Brad and Brooks were able to talk to media ahead of the game this weekend. And then next Wednesday, they have Inter Miami. And there were concerns about Messi, and there were reports that he might return. If he doesn't return this weekend, he could return to that game, which means he would play at the Benz. If you remember last year, because of injury, he did not travel. The turf issue, I don't think is really a talking point anymore because, we'll see how it plays out. But he has played at the Benz before, but that was on grass. That was for Copa. But we'll see what happens. That would be very interesting if this first game back after everything he's been dealing with is here. But we'll see. Let's hear from Brooks and Brad.
Of the 7-8 teams competing for these final two playoff spots in these reasonable playoff spots in these, y'all are tied for the most home matches. So how important are these two home matches coming up and getting as many points as you can?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said regardless of position in the table, regardless of points and whatnot, home matches are always important. You know, we know what the Benz is about. We know what the stadium brings in terms of atmosphere and our supporters and our fans. And so, for us, it's almost like a side note that, the games have the implications that they do because, every time we step on that field, it just carries a little bit more. And we know that we've got a responsibility to go out and try and pick up as many points as we can.
What needs to be different for y'all in terms of the performance of these next two games compared to the previous ones at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at, the game in Charlotte, you look at, past games, we need to be able to put it all together in terms of the defensive side of the ball, the attacking side of the ball, and it needs to be, for those 90-plus minutes, it needs to be together in terms of a performance. There have been times when we've defended well, not taking our chances. There have been a time when we've taken chances, scored a few goals, and we've not defended well. And so, we need to make sure we put it together.
I presume, that's been one of the points of emphasis in training these past 2 weeks is kind of how to get both things locked down.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's at the end of the day, that's the nature of the game, right? Defending and attacking. You've got to be able to defend, you got to be able to attack, and we now as a group need to try and go into a match day and put it together and make sure the focus and concentration is there to hopefully allow us to do that.
Yeah, they're super important. I think every season, you always look to win your home games. That's very important in this league. Those home games, especially here at Mercedes-Benz, we should make that place a fortress and a place that's tough to beat us in. So, super important week ahead of us, but we started with a great training session today.
And the good vibes coming off the road win at Charlotte. How does that change just these last 2 weeks?
Yeah, it helped a lot, kind of with the vibes and the mentality in the locker room and in and around the building. Everyone's been in good spirits, but we also know, the job's not finished. Our goal is to get into the playoffs, and, we have 7 games ahead of us to be able to do so.
What needs to be the difference in getting results in these next 2 home matches compared to the previous home matches?
Yeah, I think just the way we performed against Charlotte. I think if we can continue to do that, we were very solid defensively. We scored a great goal coming from midfield, and obviously the addition of Alexi helps a lot. You can see he's a world-class player, and we're super happy to have him. So, I think in the next 7 games, especially the games at home, he'll help us a lot.
What are you getting to know about him off the field? What kind of guy is he?
Super nice guy, yeah. Really down to earth, kind of a little bit more soft spoken than Gigi at times, but no, great guy. Comes from a great family. He has a twin brother that's also playing professionally. So he comes from a really nice background, and his personality and attitude toward training and coming here with Atlanta United has been world class so far. So we're super grateful and happy to have him.
And how is it different now that you've had a couple of appearances with him, playing with him compared to Thiago in that position?
Yeah, it's just obviously a different kind of player. Thiago's, obviously a little bit shorter in stature, kind of a little bit more twisty and creative. But Alexi is, you could see the world-class left foot that he has, which is very unique. And you can see when you get him in open space, he can create goal-scoring opportunities for us. So, we're super happy to have him.
When Rob first took over, the schedule was crazy. You guys were playing a bunch of games midweek. Now that you've had some time to work with him on the training pitch, what's the personality that he wants you guys to play with?
Yeah, just kind of no fear. No fear, and at times, having nothing to lose. We've gotten ourselves in this position, and I think it's a good position to be in right now because we're fighting to get into the playoffs, and that means that every single match matters and is almost like a final for us. So the training's been really, really good. We've all had good attitudes. Everyone's been working hard, and we're waiting on 2 or 3 guys to get back from international duty, and we'll have the full squad and attack these last 7 games with everything that we have.
How has your role kind of evolved and what he wants you to do?
Yeah, just trying to step in as even more of a leader than I have been in the past. And, I'm obviously a guy that's been here for 5 years now. And, I think it's important for me to onboard, guys like Alexi on and off the pitch and, let him know kind of how I like to play. And, maybe, we can create some type of combinations on my side and create goal scoring opportunities. So, I'm just trying to lead this team as best as possible and get us into the playoffs.
Last one for me about Alexi, with him being such a 1-2 touch kind of guy versus Thiago, who was so great on the dribble, how does that change the way that you guys attack?
Yeah, I think the ball will move a lot faster once it goes through Alexi. I think, like you said, he's kind of a 1 and 2 touch type of player, and he likes wall passes, give and goes, and he likes to play the ball into the space, which is ideal for me because if he can play me into the space, maybe I can cross it back into him. So I'm really excited to play with him, especially at Mercedes-Benz in front of our home crowd, and Nashville is the first of 7 finals for us.
What was your best shot at your girlfriend?
My best shot? I think I hit like a 25-foot putt from. Yeah, it was decent.
So quickly, not too much time. Let's go to what's on your mind. I'll start us off tonight. So I was thinking of my time covering Kirk Cousins, and I actually covered him as he had lost 9 straight Monday Night Football games in a row and had never won on Monday Night Football, which made me curious now what's his record on Monday Night Football. So I did some math. Are you ready? On Monday Night Football, Kirk Cousins is 3-10. He faced Philly twice in those 13 games and lost both of them, tossing 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions combined in those 2 games. Seemed to have a decent game even in that one loss, but then had a tumultuous game, the most recent one, which was like 2 or 3 years ago. Can you guess his record in primetime games? 32 total primetime games.
10-22.
Close. 12-20. 12-20. So there's your Kirk Cousins stats before we talk to him tomorrow. What you got?
The White Sox are 80 games under 500. This team is bad.
That's atrocious.
That's historically atrocious.
How do you keep wanting to play football with that? Football, baseball. Sorry.
I don't know. 80 games under 500. That's insane.
That's a long season. People talk about how long baseball is. Can you imagine being 80 games under 500? Woof. 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 Join us tomorrow. We will have all the latest from Flowery Branch, from Raheem Morris, Zach Robinson's talking. We'll definitely hear from Kirk Cousins and what's the latest for that as they gear up for the Eagles. But for this edition of Sports Night, for Ellie Parker, I'm Bailey Burmaster. You all have a great night.